You're watching Hellbent Holler live, part of the Hellbent Media Network. Grab a drink, settle in, and get ready for the show.
That was perfect. Awesome. All right. We are going to do a camera and mic check. Make sure you can hear us and let us know in the chat that you can hear us. And we will get started. Loud and clear. Thank you, Deuster. Always on the ball. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. This is our weekly hangout that we always do with everybody. We are always on here at 7:30 on Mondays, and it's pretty free form. It's pretty informal. If you haven't been here before, that's just kind of what we do. We talk about topical stuff in the world of weird, and we'll talk about some of our expeditions and whatever else everybody in the chat wants to talk about. So with all that out of the way, my name is Jesse. This is Joe, and let's get started. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Monday. I know the weather's been pretty crazy over the weekend, but I hope everybody fared pretty well with that. We were kind of stranded on Saturday because of torrential rainfall.
And flooding.
Lots of flooding.
Lots of flooding.
However, yesterday we did a members live from our latest research area called the Grove. We did that last night, and that beat the ever-loving crap out of us.
Yeah, very much so.
We both woke up pretty sore today. So, but it was pretty wild. We had a really, really crazy time out there. So if you guys are members and you joined us for that, thank you for joining us for that. That was a lot of fun. So speaking of the Grove, that is kind of our latest research area. That's where we've been going over the past couple of weeks. We've been diving into the history of the area. We've been diving into all of these accounts, and we have more accounts coming our way from that general area. So if you recognize that area and you've had an encounter there, you can always email us, hellbentholler@gmail.com, because we are, of course, always taking accounts from that, because we're right now building the case for that area. And it's a lot of wilderness, despite the fact that there is like a highway that runs through there, and there is a couple of towns within, 10 miles of it. It's still pretty crazy out there.
It's really crazy out there.
Yeah.
And if you guys remember back when we did I think it was like a member stream, live stream, and I was just going, I just don't get a feeling from this place at all. You know what I'm saying? You could occasionally hear like an 18-wheeler in the distance,
Yeah.
it was not, and I'm going, this just is not as remote as the places we normally go to. And I'm just going, I mean, we can stream from here, but I just don't feel it, And then we started getting more and more and more accounts from that area. And then now we've had 2 pretty crazy night investigations there. So
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
And what's weird is, and somebody had made a comment about this earlier, is so far there's nothing really like wooey out there at all.
There's no overtly paranormal activity
At
from what
all
we can
that
tell.
we have encountered or that we've heard about. And usually for us, at least, and especially in this part of the country, the 2 go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Sasquatch encounters usually go along with like other really weird stuff.
And from what we've experienced, say like in North Georgia, when we've had what we can consider, what we assume is Sasquatch activity, we've also had a lot of crazy paranormal stuff going up there. There's an area just below where we go in North Georgia where there was a Sasquatch sighting that was actually on the BFRO's website.
Mm-hmm.
And we've experienced a lot of supernatural type stuff out there. This is probably one of the first times that we've not experienced.
Well, all right, I want to throw this your way though. So I was thinking about this today. And when I say that we've had a ton of people contact us about this area so far. We haven't talked to most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked at how much like activity is going through there, how many experiences that people are having through there. Okay. What's standing out to me though, odd, is a couple of things. One gentleman had a print that he found there. Excuse me. We're still both fighting these colds and being out all night the other night.
They want an ear update whenever you get done. We got to take care of the important stuff, talking about
So,
my ailments.
One gentleman found a print. It wasn't a Sasquatch print.
Uh-huh.
And we're just going to leave it at that. Wasn't a Sasquatch print. It was something else weird. So far, most of the descriptions have just been something large, like hairy, dark figure chased me out.
Mm-hmm.
The one guy said he saw a Sasquatch that he did as he was driving by, and it's really stuck with him and bothered him a great deal. The other people haven't really been able to give us a description beyond large, hairy, black objects that are very aggressive. So we assume we're dealing with Sasquatch.
So you're going in the direction that this might be something we've talked about before, where people misidentify just because they're in the woods. They automatically think what they're experiencing. If they're experiencing, say, a Class B type encounter where you hear something, there may be rocks thrown or something like that, or you hear a noise, that you just assume that it's Sasquatch because you're in the woods.
Here's what we're getting though, we're mostly getting aggressive, chasing them out of the area. Now one guy has seen a Sasquatch. Nobody has seen a Dogman or anything like that we talked to yet. But I'm just saying, we want to make sure that we don't get the cart before the horse. We don't assume that we're dealing with Sasquatch out there. Mm-hmm. When it might, so far for the most of the reports, it's something a large black hairy figure that's aggressive. So I don't want to get too locked into us going, oh wow, this is like a real like Sasquatch, site for us, an area with like actual Bigfoot activity. Somebody's seen a Bigfoot, but we don't know what these other things are yet. So I don't want to get too committed to any one thing.
To a theory.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Thank you, Francisco.
Pass the collection plate. So. But
I almost purchased a collection plate one time just for my weird collection of stuff.
So Jesse, how is your ear?
My ear is good. I can hear. They put me on another round of steroids.
She's all hulking out around here.
No, I'm off of them now, so I'm nice now. I'm very kind. Very kind. Very kind. No, I'm good. I have a ENT appointment in March. That's the quickest I could get it. So I'm probably going to end up getting surgery of some kind. But I'm good. I had my antibiotics and my steroids, so I'm good. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate that. Miranda Crew has one here. Please hit the like button and show Jesse and Joe some love. It's free and shows support to their channel. Thank you, Miranda Crew.
Some pretty cool stuff already in this damn chat.
Go ahead and start starring.
Well,
Kim.
I'm starring them as I go.
Stephen Taylor has graced us with his presence.
Stephen Taylor's in the Cryptid Elite is here tonight. We have all of the usual suspects that are here tonight. So a couple quick things here real quick. So first off, Trista Myers is in. She'd had emergency surgery. We just wanted to tell you that we hope you're doing better.
Yes, we hope you get better.
So I saw that earlier before we popped in. We just wanted to kind of let you know that we all hope that you are feeling better at this point. A couple quick things, and I don't want to get too stuck on that because we've got some people here that aren't members. We don't want it to be just to exclude any of them from this, but from that Sunday night stream, yes, I was very frustrated with the terrain, especially when I tried to go off trail. Well, all of it was off trail, but when we tried to get into that area that looked like it had been wrecked, it's all just downed branches and trees and everything like that. It's very difficult to maneuver over, and I'm feeling it today.
It looks like there was they've done some clearing back there
and then just left it. They never finished it. Never finished the job.
So it's pretty rough going in some of those areas.
Most of those damn areas. But yeah, it was frustrating dealing with it. And if you guys saw where I had my screw this moment and then just started busting through, and I'm feeling it today.
Literally, that's for the members, so you can go F this.
Yeah.
You flipped out. I watched it after.
I haven't watched the footage yet, but now I lost it because I'm just standing there. I'm literally crippled with how I go because I'm going. We see something on thermal. Jesse's hearing those weird baby crying noises, and I can't move forward because everywhere I go to step, I'm falling until finally I just went screw this and just bashed through, and now I feel it.
Kim Drescher says, Joe, you blew our minds with that off-trail stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know how the footage came out because I couldn't see the chat, and I was having to use the light off the phone that we stream off of to kind of help me get through there because it's all just these wrecked branches and I'm stepping on them. My feet are going through. I'm trying to move quickly. I'm trying to keep an eye around me. I get in there. I found where something had been crouched down eating big eggs. Those eggs were the size of chicken eggs. They might have been chicken eggs. I don't know. I probably should have taken the shell, but I had other stuff to worry about.
Weird.
Thank you for that, Tracy Crane. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy Crane.
I'll apply that towards medical bills after this weekend. So
you're not that bad off.
I'm pretty freaking sore today. So I'm pretty sore.
You're not that bad off.
So
You'll be all right.
Pretty damn sore.
Jason Grizz Horrell says it ain't a good live until Joe cusses.
Because I'm standing there and Jesse's going, I see it, and I see where I need to go to, and I'm looking at how I get there because literally what it looks like is at one point they bulldozed through there. I don't know why, and then just stopped, or maybe did a storm touch down in there? I mean, there's no way to get a vehicle back there. That's my thing in that particular area we're in. I have no clue. Places like wrecked all to hell, and it's just piled high, so you're scrambling over top of 2-3 feet of just broken branches, and it's wet, and they're breaking on you. Some of them are rotting.
You're really considering golf now, aren't you?
Golf is looking pretty damn attractive. So there we go. But anyway, it was, I got just frustrated. And then finally I just threw myself forward and just cut up, and I got like a bashed head. I took a branch to the head. So I got a big knot on my head with a cut. But anyway, we got in there and we looked around, and then we heard that weird noise that somebody said it sounded like an owl for a minute until that grunt in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So we've still got to go back and see what the footage
first,
picked up.
Okay, I wanted to say at first I was hearing that it's like a baby crying noise, but at first I was like, could that be trees?
No.
Rubbing against
it didn't sound like because I mean sometimes
creaking,
foxes, wildlife sounds weird sometimes. And like with coyotes, for example, you can hear coyotes every night for your life and then hear like this weird noise and you're going, all right, that's not coyotes. And then you walk over there and you go, that's a coyote. It's got a coyote like sound to it. That did not sound like a fox from what I could hear from it.
Mm-hmm.
It did not sound like a fox, but you can't rule it out because we couldn't get back in and see where it was at. Just like all those tree pins we're coming across. I'm going, that in of itself proves nothing. You didn't see what bent the tree. Damn, there's a lot of tree bends back through there, man.
And even somebody here said in the chat, they're like, it's weird how they're all about the same height.
Yeah, it's bizarre, man. So
so I think I'm gonna have a video coming out from our day scout in that area. I'll have that video coming out this week. And so you guys, that's going to be for everybody, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, and again, we go
But
back to
you
this.
guys can see like
we've got
the terrain back
it's
there.
it's a small patch of woods, 28,000 acres or so, but it's surrounded by a pretty decent amount of privately owned wooded land.
Yeah.
There's an old state highway.
Then, and what's weird is there's a swamp. There's all these like loblolly groves in
it's
there.
weirdly diverse, like terrain back through there.
Yeah.
Very weird. But at the same time, it's not as, maybe it is when you add in all the privately owned land, it's just not as big as like a lot of the national forests are and stuff like that. But I'm looking at it going, there's towns nearby. There's no way that, well, I keep correcting myself. I'm sitting there normally going, there's no way that something biological is like living back here permanently with a breeding population, and they're bearing young, they're feeding, they're dying, everything within this pretty good sized patch of forest. Not without, they'd get hit by a car, man. I mean, mountain lions have very low population density, and mountain lions get hit by cars. But my thing is then you get back in there and you go, damn, man. Remember Eric Rudolph and how Eric Rudolph stayed hidden for so damn long? Now imagine if Eric Rudolph, had abilities that Eric Rudolph didn't have, but he had that intelligence. Something intelligent could stay back in there. Every time I'm just getting ready to close the book on it just being like a natural undiscovered, well, not natural, like an undiscovered entity that's just inhabits this plane, this reality, and it just stays hidden. Then I just have these moments where I go, damn, man, if I could if I was like a lot stronger and faster and could stay hidden a lot better, but I had like human-like intelligence, I could stay hidden back in here. Nobody'd ever find me.
You talk about like the proximity to humans and human activity and everything. Think about the location of the LBL. Think about, say, for example, the alleged massacre site. We can be at that alleged massacre site, and then within 7 minutes, we can be sitting down eating a fried chicken sandwich and tater tots at a restaurant.
And that's what's weird is because you go into North Georgia and you're hours from that site on foot back to the vehicle.
Yeah.
Then you're hours on gravel roads until you hit a paved road. And that ain't a major paved road. And then you're another hour on that road before you start hitting civilization?
Yeah, that's out there. And then it goes forever,
Yeah. So this ain't that. And that's my other thing I look at is that we think it's not woo out there. I'm still not convinced that something could be out there long term and not get discovered.
Yeah.
It might be, I don't know. It's just, I look at something like that and I go, you could stay hidden for a while, maybe a small group, but a breeding population, it just does not seem as if you could. But then again, I look at it too, and there's so many reports coming out of there that have never made its way to public attention at this point.
A lot of these people are being referred to as by other people who are like, hey, my friend had this experience out there and it's kind of disturbed them. They've never really talked about it with anybody.
Yeah.
That's 2 of our accounts so far are just reference accounts, from people who maybe have offhandedly seen what we do and said, hey, my friend had this experience, and then they referred them to us.
But I still go back to this, though, that I guess there's that war still going on within me that up until just a few years ago, I was not open to this woo stuff at all. And now I'm extremely open to it. But then I still try to approach everything with no preconceived notions. But there's still that war going on within me, man, where I just go, there's a reason why a lot of mainstream scientists don't believe that these things exist, because you're right. All of the things that skeptics and these mainstream scientists say, there'd be more of an imprint upon the landscape there. You'd see them feeding, you'd see them, scat everywhere, living, dying, breeding, doing all the things that they do. But then you go back to this and I go, there's so many reports through there that have never made its way onto not the BFRO, not the Bigfoot Mapping Project. These have just become like an oral tradition in that area. It's an oral tradition. And I'm going, well, when you get right down to it, that's what most paranormal activity has been involved with over mankind's history.
It's kind of had to be.
It's always been the oral traditions that pass this on. And you're seeing this in real time in modern day there. And I'm going, all right, you always go with the advent of the internet and information is so free flowing now. And I'm like, it's still free flowing. It's just not, these people are not calling up the BFRO. They're talking to their friends. They're talking to their neighbors. They're comparing notes. And now they're seeing people that are like looking in it pretty seriously, and it's a floodgate of stuff coming out right now. I mean, we're getting a lot of stuff in a pretty short amount of time out there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so it's extremely, extremely compelling. Anyway,
I've got some stuff started if you want to take a look-see.
I'm going through. So.
Oh, look-see-do.
Almoon Lab is in here. Yeah, we've talked about that several times. The trapdoor closing. Actually, that's something that I've followed for years in the Bigfoot community, because it's often like a secondary part of a report for a lot of Bigfoot sightings. And a lot of times people don't even bring it up because they don't think that it's important as it relates to the Bigfoot sighting as a whole. I mean, you just saw a 7 or 8 foot tall hairy primate that's not supposed to exist. That's what factors largely in your account of what you experienced, not the fact that you maybe heard a metallic sound. So, and it's weird because, and I've talked about this before, you used to see all of the fumbling for explanations that people would try to do. Well, a tin roof of an old shack must have gotten torn up by a tornado and it got deposited in the forest, and the Sasquatch are using it to signal one another and do all this crazy stuff. But you see that so often with Bigfoot encounters. You see it with Dogman encounters. You see it with missing persons reports. Tom Mezek, missing 411. Martin Groves reported it. People report it with poltergeist activity. People report it with UFO activity. So yeah, we have heard weird metallic sounds. We've heard weird machinery sounds that we've even been able to pick up with like smaller action cam microphones. Absolutely. And now that we've upped our microphone games, we got a new microphone actually in, guys, that we're experimenting with right now. Did
you have that in here?
I don't know where I put it at. We got stuff everywhere. That's the other thing too, man. We're still getting charged and cleaned from that
from last night.
So usually when you guys see us, we've had a few hours to kind of collect ourselves and get set back up, but yeah, we've had that metallic sound, and that's something that people report quite a bit, but you have to dig for it. Did you hear or experience anything else strange that we haven't talked about yet up until this point? Well, there was a weird sound, but I don't think
we've got some strange answers to that. Is there something that I didn't ask about that you haven't told me about?
Yeah, well, I don't think it has anything to do with what I saw. Well, humor me. What else have happened? And then they just throw random stuff out at you that you start going, well, this might actually be important. But anyway, we go back through here. Let's go back through. I don't want dead air. I'm just trying to catch up.
Everyday Pyro said, I compared the sound to trees creaking, but I know that's not what it was.
Are you talking about the sound that Jesse heard that we picked up on, or the sound that I heard when I got into that clearing?
I think he's talking about the sound that I heard, because that was the most prominent thing. Now, I watched the replay of last night's footage. And
you watched it?
I watched some of it. Yeah. Right. I heard that thing that you heard when you go into that clearing.
Sounds like an owl for a second, and then there's a weird grunt noise in the middle of it, and then back to an owl.
Yeah.
But you saw where I was pointing the flashlight at. I thought I saw something between the split of that tree, but I don't know if I saw anything or not. I was just, it's confusing in there. There's so many broken branches and down trees, and your eyes trying to focus on like a million different things at once. But it was a weird sound. And then you're yelling for me, and I think I said, I just went, oh hell, I just ran like way off from Jesse at this point.
Left me out
point
there.
Of separation that we always like go, oh, don't get separated.
Well, I'm sitting out there. I had the thermal, I got my AGM on me, so I'm scanning around with a thermal. I think somebody asked earlier, what did it look like on thermal? What did we see on thermal? So I recorded what we got on thermal. Basically, you can see the thicket, like the shrubs, the bushes, the vines, everything all piled up, and then you can kind of see just a little heat signature behind all of that.
What a little, it was sizable, but
what I'm saying, let me finish what I'm saying for 5 seconds here. And you can see something behind all of that. You just see a little portion of it, and then you see it kind of move, and you can see that it's a lot bigger than just a little thing. It's not a mouse or anything like that up in this thicket. It's something behind the thicket, but you can't get a very clear outline of anything because you have all of the stuff between the living thing and the thermal. So you just get what is kind of coming through those little patches there. So you can just get kind of an idea of maybe about how big it might be. And it looked pretty sizable. Now you can go.
And actually, on Moon Lab had mentioned, I've read Dark Matter Monsters about 6 months ago, actually. So
Yeah.
it's a good book. But that's the thing with the thermal is that you get it behind a solid object. You can't, you're not going to see a solid object on there. And there are a lot of solid objects out there. So, and you have to watch out. That's the big thing, is that when you catch something on thermal, you have to go towards it. We had that instance, about a month ago, where we flipped out with what we saw on thermal. And then what was it when we got close?
A bird.
A bird. There was a bird in a bush that you couldn't see. It blended in so perfectly to the naked eye on flashlight that you couldn't see it there. We thought something was peeking around the tree at us. We were like flipping out. We're recording it.
Oh, we're
driving through it. We're just like rushing in.
This is it.
This is it. We got it. And we get up and it's a bird.
It's
like
a
there,
bird.
it just flies off as soon as we get up. So
that's why you have to go down to where it is.
Yeah, especially when you're seeing suggestive like heat blobs.
Well, the way it was shaped, it looked like it was, I guess it's the forced perspective, that the bird was a lot closer in this bush, and it looked like a head and a shoulder the way it was.
So bizarre.
But it was a lot closer. We thought it was something further away, but much larger.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that thermal image we caught in the LBL where you look at it and go, that's a big upright outline with a snout and ears.
Yeah.
This was a blob of heat that looked suggestive, and we had to run towards it. And then once we got towards it, we were like, well, we thought it was.
We shook that poor little burb up.
We shook that poor little burb up. So again, we can't say that what we were looking at is, we don't know what we were looking at. I just know that when I got back in that area, something had been chowing down on good sized eggs. Now, again, could be a small mammal, could be anything, but it was just odd back there. It's odd. There's enough stuff that's got my interest peaked in that area, especially when you take into consideration those like bamboo wood knocks that we heard. That I've had people try to. One guy said that there were walnuts falling from a walnut tree in the middle of the bamboo grove. There's a couple of dead trees back in there that have been choked out by the bamboo grove.
Yeah.
There's no walnut producing walnut tree back there that's dropping walnuts onto the bamboo and making that sound. We had a hard time trying to replicate that sound. It's two hollow pieces of bamboo struck together with a lot of force, and that bamboo back there's thick. That bamboo back there is not something you can just pick up.
I did a couple test knocks.
Jesse did some test knocks.
And I kind of found something similar with two dead pieces of bamboo, where one is off, one is like in my hand and I'm whacking, and the other one is a standing piece of dead bamboo. And that's like the closest I could get, but it still wasn't quite correct.
Anyway, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. JD Smooth said, I think you're dealing with more than one. Again, it's one of a couple of things. If it's I think the undiscovered ape thing is just out of the window at this point. There's no way even a cunning animal could stay hidden there. You'd have to be dealing with something with at least human-like intelligence. So and some of these reports are going back decades now at this point. So there'd have to be a breeding population in there, which means more than one. Or if it's something in the woo realm, then all freaking bets are off. You know what I'm saying? You could be dealing with one, you could be dealing with 100 that just pop out like every so often and then just go back to wherever they came from.
Stephen Bolton is suggesting that perhaps they're migrating, that the thing that could diffuse the breeding population criticism is that they're migratory.
Migration, here's my problem with that though. Migration means movement, okay? So they're moving from one place to another for environmental pressures generally. You know what I'm saying? The more movement over longer distances, every time you move over longer distances like that, the chances of like official discovery increase. You're going to get hit by a car. One's going to make a stupid mistake and something is going to happen. It's going to, that's the only thing I always see with these migration patterns. I'm going, you're taking something and it's moving through multiple states. And yeah, there's green belts that go through. I understand that, but they're fewer and fewer all the time. Like out there, it's a really green area and there's a road in the middle of it. One of the best sightings we've gotten through there, the best reports, is the guy who saw it driving through there.
Yeah.
So anyway. What do we got?
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, I was trying to catch up here. I had a few things started while you're going through here. Could there be caves or old mines in that area?
No.
No, not that we know of at this point.
Not
No
that we know of.
caves. I don't know if there's any mines in that area, so we don't know.
That's not. That's what would be considered in a Piedmont. It's the foot of the mountain.
Yeah.
It's not really in the mountainous area. It's not up in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So you are less likely to have like caves in that area. And there's been, to my knowledge, no mining in the history of that area. You can
Mhm.
usually find on using the Garmin GPS. You
Mhm.
have these old maps and these overlays that'll kind of pinpoint, like in one of our research areas up in the mountains,
Keep going.
there's actually defunct mines up there. There's a couple asbestos mines up there. So
Dewey had just asked if the package arrived today. I meant to start. I clicked on it by mistake. So
Oh,
I won't
okay.
take the stuff. It did arrive. We got a little care package from Dooster today. We got Dewey Edwards' new book, 12 O'Clock High, if I can get my fingers off there, which is detailing Captain Thomas Mantell, who chased a UFO, and there are thoughts that the UFO was shot down. So Dewey just did an exhaustively researched book on it. So he sent it to us, and we're going to get a couple more copies of them and do a giveaway over the next probably week or so.
Mhm.
So we're going to set that up right now. But, we're really captivated with all this UAP stuff that's going on right now, because even if you don't think that Sasquatch, Dogman, any other anomalous activity is connected to the UAP phenomenon, the fact is that it's coming out now that something that society has conditioned you to thinking is ridiculous, and that the authorities have just flat out said, nope, this doesn't happen. We're not lying to you. This is not real. Well, it's coming out now that they have lied to you, that it is real. So in my mind, that has a direct tie-in with a lot of this other stuff. What else is real out there that they have completely denied up till now? So Dewey has just gone all out on this book. So we're going to be doing a giveaway. Dewey also sent us this real quick. A little handheld.
It's a pinpointer
metal detector, because we get into these areas a lot of times, and we've noticed areas that used to have human habitation, old homesteads, just old houses, especially in the national and state forests, where people used to live before they were kicked off to take their land to make the national and state forests. We notice that we constantly find weird activity around these spots that it turns out there used to be some sort of habitation there. So sometimes it's very obvious. There's an old stone chimney, maybe the remnants of a foundation, maybe the remnants of stairs. We found this weekend, we found an old garbage dump that looks like it's from like the 1920s.
Yeah.
Just a little family
I found an old coffee
garbage
can.
dump.
Yeah.
But Dewey got us this to help kind of assist when we're looking for those, to see if there was any sort of like habitation in those areas. So
Indy Southpaw, thank you for that, sir.
Indy
Appreciate
Southpaw.
it. He says maybe they just hunt that area but live somewhere else.
And that's the thing, is that again, and it might be right. I don't know. I keep going back and forth on
We
this.
can't be definitive on literally anything.
Again, I'm not even willing to stake my claim on the fact that it's Bigfoot there, because that's what I keep waiting for somebody else to go, I found Bigfoot tracks, or I saw it and it looked like this, and it's the stereotypical Bigfoot description. So far, it's just been the one weird track. One guy has said he saw Bigfoot. Everybody else is just going a large, dark, hairy shape. So, and I just noticed that when I was kind of looking through some of those reports today, just going, what am I not seeing here? I'm not seeing repeated descriptions of Sasquatch. One description of Sasquatch, the rest of them large, dark, hairy, aggressive figures. So thank you for that, Indy. We appreciate it. So I'm going to spend it on ace bandages and Ben Gay at this point. So
I gotta go to a chiropractor tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that was some rough going, man. That was some.
All right, I've caught up on chat. Thank you, Jesus.
What's
Thank
that
you,
now?
Lord, I was trying to catch up on chat.
You caught up on it, so
yeah, I'm trying to get through everything. So, Indy Southpaw is a man. That's ma'am.
Ma'am,
actually.
that's ma'am. Thank you, Indy Southpaw.
It's ma'am.
It's ma'am. Marcus Aurelius wanted to know who planted all that bamboo. It's not indigenous. There's river cane that's through this area, but there's not as much of it as it used to be. It's really, especially in this region, you still see little clumps of it. Apparently, it used to be extremely prevalent, right? You will see bamboo planted as like a privacy vegetation.
Yeah, it always gets out of hand.
Always gets out of hand.
I've never seen bamboo that large.
There's an old plantation in that area.
Yep.
So
I'll let you go.
now you go.
Okay, so I just talk about it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so exactly where that grove is the site of an old plantation. It caught fire, was run down, and was eventually just destroyed and taken down. What's left there is basically just parts of the foundation. We found part of a rock wall. We found part of a foundation, part of what we think is possibly the base of the hearth and the main fireplace of the plantation. And it was a huge place. We've also found bits of foundations a distance away. We're assuming that might be what is the slave quarters, because it was an operational plantation in the early 1800s. So we are thinking that's what that is. And we've got that huge area that I was walking through in that video that released last week. We think that was probably the plantation grounds and the fields and everything. So we're still going to be digging around in there. That is not a native species. The bamboo is not a native species to that area, and it's really, really gotten out of hand.
Yeah, no,
I've never seen a bamboo grove that mature. Ever.
Now
ever.
that area that's cleared off next to it, to me, I look at that and I go, that's probably the grounds of the plantation around the plantation house.
Right.
So that bamboo, who knows? I mean, we're still looking into it. A couple quick things I want to touch upon here real quick, just because Al Moon Lab had a couple questions that are associated with kind of what we're dealing with. It seems to be captured on audio devices. Have you noted any anomalous lights? We get tons of anomalous lights in association with strange noises like that. So much so that we keep chasing it with different types of cameras. We have standard night vision cameras, full spectrum cameras, full color night vision, just because we've noticed that sometimes certain lights won't show up on certain cameras. So we have gotten a wide range of them. And then he had also asked what sort of audio recorders we use. We have a parabolic setup that's attached to a Zoom H4 and Pro, but it's bulky. You have to run it off external power. It's very sensitive, but it takes a while to set it up. It's not very mobile. You can't be very agile with it. We have a couple other Zooms that we use as just on the go. And then we carry drop recorders, which are we carry a bag full of electronic drop recorders that are a Bister brand. Yeah. Because they're decent sound, about on par with like a Sony or an Olympus, but they're much more weather resistant. They have a heavy duty aluminum body on them too. They're a lot more resistant. So what we'll do is if we're in an area and we hear like a strange sound and it never repeats, we'll drop a couple of recorders around, let them run for the rest of the night, mark them on our GPS, and then pick them up later to see what we picked up. That's how we got those sounds around that the gifting tree or offering tree that we had. So good stuff. And it survived being picked up and dropped and all that stuff by some unknown thing. Marcus Aurelius, what is this? What has he got here? If they deny, call it conspiracy, call it swamp gas, clearly man in a suit, you can bet on it being true. You know, that's what I'm watching this happen right now. And again, I didn't care at all about UFOs. I knew the main stuff. Everybody knows about Roswell. Everybody knows about, what's the Communion, Whitley Strieber, stuff like that. I mean, I knew the culturally important ones, but I didn't really dive into the folklore of UFOs that much. It just didn't. The Travis Walton case. Yeah, it just didn't interest me, man. But now you look at it and you start going, man, you take some of these like Sasquatch encounters and then you take the word Sasquatch out, you flip it with like UFO, same near encounter. You know what I'm saying? But watching the same thing that's really kind of interesting watching right now is so that slow roll UAP disclosure. People start coming out. Whistleblowers are coming out. People are talking about it. New York Times runs an article with it. People start talking about it. And then it seems like the people, the gatekeepers of the secrets were kind of caught off guard by all of it, maybe. And there wasn't a lot of pushback. And you're seeing that pushback right now, man. You're seeing that pushback online right now. Reddit, Facebook, all of that. You're just seeing these people come out of nowhere to try to like attack people that are talking about it, belittle people that are talking about it, just to try to like shift and steer that conversation. And I'm going, same thing you see in the Bigfoot community, man, same thing you see in the Dogman community. So yeah, I anytime somebody if it's ridiculous, then just present the data and any normal person will look at it and go, that's ridiculous. There's nothing there. When you start seeing this like the shifting of the conversation and this aggression and all of that. That's when I start going, yeah, there's smoke there, there's fire, man. So. Grace wanted to know, is that Bamboo Grove the same area where you did that scary as hell Estes session? No, that is that old mountain cemetery that we came across that the roads have all been washed out to. So nobody can get up to yet unless you hike in several miles on foot up the side of a damn hill. That is where we did that at. That's actually quite a distance away from there. So another state. So,
yeah. But we were thinking, we were inside that Bamboo Grove yesterday actually, and we were walking around and we were thinking, because there's so much history there, there's a lot of misery that usually is associated with those places and those locations, that it might be of, I've got it on here. I'm about to put it on there. Yeah, I'm about to put it on there right now. It might be a good idea to maybe try an experiment with doing an Estes session and maybe exploring the more paranormal possibilities of that area. I know that we've not had anything overtly paranormal happen. It's been more of a sort of a physical type encounter, a classic, class B type encounters that we would attribute, naturally to Bigfoot, but we don't have to just say that outright. It could be a lot of different things. It could be something else, but it might be worth exploring just for being thorough to actually explore the paranormal side of what could be going on in this location.
If you,
so the link
I'm down for doing that if we can do it like a full spectrum, like assault out there. Because again, my thought process on it. CE5 ain't that different than somebody in a pointed hat and a robe summoning things. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were going to say something else about a pointed hat and a robe. I think we went a different direction. I was like, is Stephen Greer up to some really bad stuff?
But CE5, it's intent. It's a elevated mental state, intent, and prescribed action, like ritual. It's ritual. So if you're wanting to do the Estes session out there, and again, I say let's do it, but let's set it up and we kind of toyed around with this at that cemetery, but we're limited on what we can carry in there because that's like 10 miles on foot.
Up at that cemetery. Yeah.
So we're limited on what we can carry in there, and this is deep end, but it's not as deep end. So if you want to do a CE5 Estes session or whatever, that's cool. But I want to set up and see that if we get any activity, are we getting more than what's just right in front of our faces? Right. I want to set up the psionics to scan the sky above us to see if there's any sort of anomalous light activity in the sky.
What's great about that area is the skies are so dark. There's no light pollution. And then we have those big open fields. So we would actually be able to set up a really nice bit of surveillance.
We could set up thermal for the surrounding area. We could set up psionics, night vision, in the skies above us. We could run instrumentation out there to see if there's anything on the electromagnetic spectrum. We could have recorders going to see if we pick up electronic voice phenomenon. We could literally run everything out there and see if having you
the whole outdoor
lab and having you in like the Estes CE5 state of mind and kind of doing that to see what we can draw in at this point. Okay. Well, let's take it another step further. Let's run the beacon out there. Let's introduce novel electromagnetic energy into the area.
Oh, we definitely should run
infrared. We can take the Bigfoot's, like the Sasquatch pheromone chips out there. Let's literally just do a full court press, throw everything against the wall, see what happens, you know what I'm saying, and see what we get out there. That's actually a perfect spot for it. That's a perfect spot for it. So
I think we do it. Let's do it. And
I can draw it up tonight. I ain't drawing it up tonight. I'm tired tonight. I take a hot bath and some Epsom salts and get it. But I can draw it up this week.
Well, you know what? We will probably, you want to try to do that?
We freaking live stream.
You want to do it this week?
We can take the cell booster and live stream the day.
We could.
Now, here's the deal with some of the stuff we're doing. We're going to have to recognize that. Why not? I can do that. That won't even be a problem. Yeah, we can do that. We can literally set up a little outdoor lab there, and the Thundar approach, super science and sorcery. You do the sorcery stuff with CE5, Estes session, whatever you want to do, and then we'll do this. See if we can pick up anything on the instrumentation.
Yeah, let's do it. I think we should do that. Let's definitely plan that out.
Of course, I was all jazzed up for it, and I'm sitting here just going, God, that's gonna be a monumental pain in the ass. Good Lord, that's a lot of work, but we can do it.
You know, we can use the cart.
Yeah, we do. We use that cart.
The mule.
we had to get, when we were doing the Tennessee Wildman Festival with like Martin and Barton and Dewey and Daryl Denton and everybody. We don't do a lot of those, but we wanted to do this one because Ron Moorhead was there, and we're really into Ron Moorhead's work. So we had got a cart, like, because we always see people with these carts like hauling their stuff around, and we've set up a lot of stuff. We set up a lot of instrumentation, but of course we didn't just get a normal cart. We're on there going, let's get the one with off-road tires and like this and this. So we've got this crazy collapsible like off-road cart now.
It's like a little cart that you pull. Ladybug, was that on a golf cart? No, it's when you pull
one, but it's
and you pull it.
People take them hiking with them and stuff like that on like leveled like hiking trails.
Yeah,
we could probably use that to take stuff in at least part of the way. So hell yeah.
Or I can get in it and you can roll me up there.
Roll you in.
And if you get injured, I can roll you out of there. So it's double duty.
Did you put a link up to?
I did. I was trying to say something. I was trying to say, hey, I put the link up. I'm gonna put the link up again. This is the link on Amazon where you can purchase Dewey Edwards' latest book, 12 O'Clock High.
And I'm gonna butcher the story, but
it is the Thomas Mantell Jr.
Kentucky
story.
National Guard, Kentucky Air National Guard. Guy went up to basically intercept a UFO and took off after it, and basically his plane came down. There's discussion, and Dewey goes into this. Was it shot down? Was it by like a UFO? Was it just whatever weird electromagnetic properties the UFO is using for flight? Did that interfere with his plane? There's a lot of mystery behind this, and there's some cover up on it as well. And Dewey has just committed himself to the book, but it's such perfect timing for this book to come out.
Yeah.
With all the UAP stuff right now, with the military interactions with UAP. Well, here's one of the original, unfortunately fatal military interactions with UAPs over American soil at this point. So good times, man. So
Kim was like, is it a side-by-side? No, it's a foldable cart from Amazon that's has like a name like,
but it's awesome. It's like
Schoonbat or something
but it's all like off-road looking. So all right.
Of course, I'm the engine. I gotta haul that thing. I gotta drag that thing through the woods. It could do it. I think it could do it. We could take the parabolic,
We could literally set up everything.
I'd love to get a high quality recording of some of those wood knocks. I know that what we got with my cell phone because we were streaming.
We're streaming it. But
can you imagine if we used the Zoom H4n and got like clean recordings of wood knocks like that?
Well, we've got those 2 new microphones now that we're doing as well.
Yeah.
So, so there you go. I'm like insanely behind on the chat here right now, so I'm gonna get caught up.
You don't need that mule.
Bronwyn's got something here. So areas where there seems to have been previous human habitation, which has been destroyed or removed, seem to be places that attract the weird, misery, death, destruction. So in this part of the country, at least in the southern Appalachians, all of the national forests and state forests that people enjoy, people used to live in those areas. Regardless of what the history books tell you, most of those people did not give up their land willingly.
No.
That was used. They were basically kicked off their land, compensated in varying degrees.
And it's the same story with the LBL as well.
Same story in the LBL as well. So you have these areas that, regardless of what happened to them before, European settlers arrived on the scene and set up homes there. They're kicked off their land. They're gone. Now they may have in turn kicked off Native Americans off that land. Whatever. It's a cycle of it. But there's something about, and we've given a lot of thought to this. But why is it that where you find these remnants of old homesteads, you find weird activity?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of times you look at the area that you're in and you go, we got water over here, and you're going, I guarantee you, even if it wasn't a permanent habitation, mankind has used that for like a dwelling in this area just because it's good. It's got water there. It's a comfortable, fairly comfortable place to set up, to set up a homestead there, and so it's people have stayed there and now people aren't there. So we don't know if that's the case. We don't know if the fact that a lot of times, up until fairly recently, you had a lot of small family cemetery plots. Is it the fact that more than likely there's a cemetery somewhere near these homesteads?
There's definitely people buried out there. I mean, there has to be. That land has been inhabited for so long that there's no way that there's not
Yeah,
people buried
so
out there.
it's weird. It's one of those things that we've noticed. So nowadays when we're out, that's one of the things we look for. We look to see if we can see the evidence of old road beds, see where sometimes you can look and go, okay, I can tell that this land was cleared once upon a time and now it's gone back to being wild again.
But
And
you
we
think
pay-
about this, you think about these areas that were the center of human misery, that there's so much sadness or misery that happened here. That leaves, like we've discussed before with the LBL, that leaves some sort of stain on the land, that it soaks into the land
Wow.
and it somehow manifests whatever is going on. It's almost like what happens with a poltergeist when you have a pubescent teen going through that, and whatever energy is created by that just manifests a poltergeist.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of concept with all of this energy goes into something and then you have an equal and opposite reaction.
Yep. Ray, 1999. Thank you, sir. And we appreciate it, guys. Like I said,
Yeah, thank you.
I'd mentioned, I don't even know where I mentioned that recently, but a lot of the equipment we've started off with has started to give up the ghost. We were out in the elements with it. We're going to have to replace some stuff. So anything that you guys do for that, that's where it's going to. The mink coats are going to have to get pushed back for a little bit, that we were going to get. We're going to have to focus on that. So
they give up the ghost. They need to get up the ghost.
So anyway, we appreciate that. And he asked, could it be Dogman they're seeing in the area instead of Bigfoot? That's where I'm kind of,
that's where
I haven't
Joe's
gotten
leaning.
I haven't gotten any reports of large upright canine creatures. But guess what? Out of all these sightings, I've only got one so far that says they saw a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
And that one was not aggressive.
So you can't eliminate the possibility.
The aggressive ones were getting pretty vague descriptions on, and I'm going, well, so I can't say that that's all there is to it. And again, I'm always just like, people are like, oh, well, it's strange enough for one odd thing to happen in an area. For more than one odd thing to happen, that's next to impossible. The hell it is. I mean, we find stuff like that all the time. These window areas that just have a preponderance of like strange activity that takes place in there. But thank you about that, Ray. We appreciate that.
Missouri Broad says some investigators have started using electric bikes. So break my ass on
the area we're usually on game trails. I mean, you guys saw us.
We could not take an electric, especially not like but those are like $2,500.
I was freaking crawling like a bunch on Sunday night.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally had to crawl twice through to where we were going to.
And then you can't just lean it against a tree somewhere. It's like a $2,500 thing.
Bigfoot stealing my electric bike. So 39 Sean, man. Yeah, we've left game cameras out. Not recently. I've never gotten anything on a game camera before.
We've never gotten anything on. Like we did kind of a camera trap thing in the LBL for our werewolf experiments series. We did those pheromone chips out there, and we got nothing. So
the only thing anything productive we've ever gotten from game cams
was a cute squirrel.
No, we found that old mountain road on the side of that mountain. Like that old road on the side. We found an old, like, unmarked road on the side of a mountain. I still have all that
footage, by the way.
And we were finding prints, what looked like big footprints going down this like old mountain road. You didn't even know it was there, like wrapped around the side of the mountain. It's the craziest thing. So we put game cams up there and we came back to get them. Didn't have anything on game cams, but whatever it was had walked up and behind. It completely changed its method of travel to go behind the game cams. So that was interesting to me. But we've never really gotten anything on game cams at all. So
I still have all
so
that
much
footage.
So that I probably need to check the batteries in our game cams. It's been so long since I've deployed them. So crazy backyard chicken man. All right. How many times have you guys brought things home that you did not want? When you ask for something, sometimes you ask for more than you bit off. That has happened to us more than a few times. Sometimes Jesse will get rid of it. A couple of times we have let it ride to see what happens.
I wish I could teach it how to do laundry, but
no doubt. We could use the help around the house.
But sometimes, especially like at the old place, we were like, oh, I'm seeing shadow figures. Oh, okay. And we just kind of let it go.
We'd be working, you'd see those orange lights that would come up to the window.
Yeah.
So we put security cams up and everything like that. Never really, we got some weird stuff on the security cameras, but nothing like concrete, I've also picked up like hummingbirds coming up to security cameras, big insects. You know, it could have just been that, but no, that's happened. The hitchhiker effect is a real thing. All right.
Shoot, where did that go? Moondog Davis said you should get the spirit box out there in the bamboo forest. We are going to. I think we're gonna give that we're gonna do a big old experiment.
So what we'll do is this: we'll blindfold you, hook you up to that new spirit box, that super spirit box you've got.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Blindfold you, put the noise canceling headphones on you, set you there. We will put thermal imagers. Well, we're short one. We'll put thermal imagers to cover what we can cover right now because we lost one. We will put the psionics covering the sky above us. We'll run the instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
We will click the beacon on, which puts out a real strong electromagnetic
That'll be
field.
with me though.
The beacon next to you.
I want to have the beacon because I'm going into the world. You know what I'm saying?
And then
I'm going into the trance. I want the beacon because I want to be the center of I want to be its target. I want to be the target zone.
We'll run digital audio quarters all around us.
Yes.
Let's say 50 feet out in all directions.
Yes.
We'll have the parabolic set up. And we'll just actually, here's what I'll do.
And I'll film the whole experiment setup and everything. So you guys get to see exactly what we do.
Well, because we're going to have a lot of the beacon alone makes a lot of noise. You'll be answering questions. I won't set the parabolic up with us. I'll set the parabolic off 50, 75 feet. Just kind of pointed in a random direction to see.
Okay, sounds good.
So, encrypted responses in the house. So,
yeah, that's going to be fun. That is going to be a lot of fun. Well, maybe, I don't know. I'm scared. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh, great. I got to go. You know what I'm going to do? I will get on top of the hearth.
All right.
How does that sound?
Knock yourself out.
Because I'll be physically connected with something that was part of that plantation house.
All right. So,
do you like that?
Hey, Jimmy, do you believe there are portals to hell here on Earth?
Oh, Jesus.
Damn. It's kind of between belief and knowing that there are. I mean, there are window areas on this planet that are.
For sure.
Things are coming through. I don't know from where, but there are window areas on this planet. And again, I don't have a very beneficial view of a lot of the phenomena. So I think at best it's indifferent. At worst, it's got malevolent intentions towards us. But whether that's like the biblical hell, I don't know. But I do think that there are areas that are thin. They're thin spots in reality. There's like little windows, little pinpricks where things try to come through. So
yeah. Crypto response said she's gonna need an exorcism before it's over.
It's over. Sam Burton. I'm assuming Sam Burton's talking about the Grove. He says that looks like dog. And again, I don't know, but here's the deal. I didn't think there were any Bigfoot sightings in that area. We had just never gotten one. And then now that we put it out, we've got people contacting us going, hey, I know where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You need to talk to so-and-so, or I had this experience there. Or so it's pretty cool how it's kind of like developed out there. All right. Missouri Broad's talking about those bikes are for, I would love a well-established flat trail. Man, that'd be heaven. That's like when people go, you need to put a camera on your back. And I'm going, do you see what we've tried that? And again, I really need to do it one time and just put the footage up and just go, here you go.
You have 5 hours.
Has 5 hours of branches hitting me, the sky, all of this stuff. We're usually busting through. We're not on well-established trails. Well-established trails, those work great because it's flat and clear in front of you and it's flat and clear behind you. And that's not what we have. So but well-established flat trails would be amazing.
Yeah.
I've got well-established flat trail jealousy right now.
We're going to go over this right now. Huge question. Will you try a tent camera trap? You buy a relatively cheap tent and leave maybe a body double in it and see if a Dogman investigates it. So we've talked about this before.
We got one this week that said that we needed to take in mannequins, a fake tent, and then just have food constantly cooking next to the mannequins. I don't know if the mannequins are supposed to cook it or we have some sort of robotics there to flip the bacon or
This
whatever.
is getting really complex. So we kind of talked about this before. If there's something out there, that's its environment. Is it not going to see us set up this dummy person and this tent and everything, and then it's going to watch us sneak off into the woods? And somebody suggested we dig a spider hole and get into it.
And actually, when you get as far as ideas like that go,
the spider hole's not that bad.
Spider hole ain't that bad idea. If we had like 3 days where we just didn't mind like wearing diapers and like hanging out in the spider hole.
Yeah, we got to pee in a bottle and the hole.
And you know what? Maybe that would work. I don't know. But my thing is this: that like where Jesse's going to with it, I don't think we're fooling this stuff.
I don't think so either.
I mean, there's a level of prescience that goes along with this almost, that it seems to know your intentions a lot of times. And I think the most that we kind of hope for is to make it curious, piss it off, or just put ourselves out there so that it feels like messing with us and it exposes a little bit of itself to us at a time. I think if these things were easily tricked, we'd have them in zoos by now. We would have this stuff.
Ghetto Yeti goes, who's going to be your body double? Pick anyone. We're going to take auditions.
So Marcus Aurelio is doing a great job. Joe and Jesse have opposing views on what ghosts are.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that you're dealing with the 8-year-old spirit of a boy who died in 1820. I just don't think that's the case. I think that I can't preclude that in all cases, and that might happen occasionally. But the trickster element of this stuff is you can't deny it. And the mimicry and the trickster, I just don't think that's it. I think a lot of times it's telling you what it wants to tell you or what it thinks it wants you to hear. You think, however, what?
I'm not totally sold that it's not. I have a variety of ideas. I think that it could be spirits. I think it also could be demons. I think it also could be something masking as a spirit or a demon. I think there's a lot of different possibilities of what these things could be. It could be that you're getting in touch with something else, like the other in a big O kind of way.
I agree with all of that, but I think that dead humans way down on that list. You know what I'm saying? So much so that I struggle with that. Like I just struggle seeing how that's a possibility. So yeah, we've got differing views on most of this stuff.
Marcus Aurelius says, if you're cooking bacon, even I'll show up. That's what we.
Well, that's the other thing too, is people are like, all you got to do is cook bacon and you can like see them. And I'm going, people cook bacon in the woods all the time.
I have cooked bacon in the woods since I was a child, and we have
I've never had anything happen cooking in the. Well, I take it back. When we were cooking hot dogs that night, we had that weird banshee howl. When
we did have that happen.
How's hot dogs? Maybe we need to cook hot dogs.
Hot dogs is the way to
go for a hot dog. So
last time we were cooking, though, we were robbed.
Mm-hmm.
The raccoons.
We got hit by raccoons. We did draw raccoons in, so.
We're gonna do the hot dogs.
Of course, the Wizard of Soggy Bottom's like, let's put a live axle on your cart and add a 12-volt motor to drive in it. So, anyway, so
this is a good point. Cryptid Response says a mannequin wouldn't produce any energy or fear. I don't think they would care any more about that than they do a tree limb laying on the ground, honestly. So we need to possess the mannequin with the fearful spirit of. This is getting very complicated.
We're getting into sorcery right now, man. So we're getting into sorcery.
The Bigfoot is going to be like, decoy mannequin is possessed. I'm out. Moondog Davis says we need to challenge the boogers. So Bigfoot bouncers are back on the air.
Back on the air. We're back on the air. So all right.
We're back.
But you know what, though? We do a little bit about that. I know that it drives people crazy, that whole like provocative kind of aggressive approach sometimes. But sometimes we go through red and green light. We try to stay quiet. Sometimes we just think of most people with their Bigfoot encounters, their Dogman sightings, their UAP things. They're not walking through the woods trying to stay quiet, trying to stay hidden. They're doing normal people stuff when this stuff happens, right? So sometimes we go out there, especially in the area we're in right now. There's a history of aggressive activity. It chases people out. It's aggressive.
When people are out there, and people who are armed
adult men, it chases them out. So we're going on it. There's an aggressive, we don't need to walk on eggshells out here. The eggshells that something is out there eating. We don't need to walk on those. We're going to be kind of loud.
Nice connection, Joe.
The brain's always working. But
you are doing a good job.
I'm doing a pretty good job. So But we go out there thinking again, is it going to piss something off, make something curious? Okay. So we vary that approach, but that's why when people are like, "Oh, what did that lady tell us? You're too loud to be Bigfoot hunters." And I'm like, first off, I wouldn't necessarily call us Bigfoot hunters. Second off, do you think you're going to sneak up on anything out here that's managed to stay hidden from official recognition forever?
I don't even think you were a member of Blackwater.
Good God.
Barton Nunley says bacon, steaks, hot dogs, burgers. We've tried it all.
Excuse me.
Have you tried lobster thermidor?
Let's cook a baked Alaska out there. You all need to cook a baked.
Wait.
You all need to get a Michelin-starred chef and take him to the woods and cook a.
I don't know why this is so difficult for you to understand.
I just don't understand why you people don't get it.
Now I want a baked Alaska. Yeah, I mean, we've all cooked out there. I mean, that's something everybody does.
Bacon wrapped hot dogs.
Oh, shit.
Best of all worlds. All right. Portals to Hell. I already answered that one. We're going back through the chat. So now this is here we go. Moondog Davis. Record a noisy playground and pump the noise to see what happens. They love noisy kids, I heard. We could introduce, people have played babies crying before.
Yeah.
We could just play the children, play the sounds of children playing. Novel idea.
Although
you want to jot that down real quick on your little pad of stuff?
Which one of us is going to go to the playground and record the kids?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe that's not such a good idea. You want to tell us again? Well, officer, it's like this. We're paranormal and
not weird.
We're not
weird. I mean,
we investigate high strangeness, but not that strange. You were at this playground for 8 hours with these audio recorders. What sort of freak are you?
We're just some old. We got like an old microphone out there, just holding it.
Could you kids play louder? So, yeah, let's not do that. Okay.
We might be able to find something on the internet.
And I'm scared to even do anything with our kids playing. I've scared myself. So, all right. Anyway, 39 Seaman had asked, is there any correlation with ley lines and unusual findings in your investigations? Yes and no. Sometimes there'll be areas that we look into and there's supposed to be a ley line going through there. Other times we have weird stuff going on, and there's, just like we mentioned, sometimes we see it with the old like settlements or remnants of old homesteads or whatnot. Other times it's just weird and we can't see a direct, correlation between it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something there that we're missing that we haven't found yet. Maybe we're looking for patterns where there are no patterns. I don't know.
Stephen Bolton, I'm writing down that book about purgatory. That is of my interest.
What is the book on purgatory?
Hungry Souls by Gerard van den Aardeweg.
Never heard of it before.
The Burning Hands from Purgatory.
I've never heard of that.
Pretty interesting. So I am writing that.
Ghetto Yeti, Hellbent Holler. The Grove seems to be a pretty active spot. If you're going to see something, it'll be there, in my humble opinion. What's your opinion on it? Seems like a pretty good for some static investigations. Yeah, we're going to do that big static investigation. We're going to throw a bunch of stuff at it. We are going to, we might go as tech heavy and as weird on a static investigation as we have ever gone. We might even try to stream some of it. I don't know. That'd be another added level of complexity to it. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's going to be our next big. But here's the thing that you always run into, man, that we always have a hard time with, is that when we're out and we do these static investigations, we've got all this equipment up. That's when it seems like stuff's happening just over there, and we can't go.
And we ain't leaving that equipment.
We can't go. We can't leave the equipment, and we can't, we don't want to separate. So I don't know. But yeah, that's what we're gonna try to do it at that point.
Sorry, Broad. Why are you recording these children? I'm going to use the footage to catch Bigfoot. That should go over like.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh my God.
Jeff Rawls had asked, any idea what ate those bird eggs? No, I don't even know what bird eggs they were. They were the size of chicken eggs. One of them looked like they had some like speckling on the end of it, but that might have just been dirt.
We'll go back to that spot, and I will see if I can identify this egg situation.
Get some egg identification going on there. And again, it could have been, I mean, trust me, man, we used to raise chickens. Everything wants like eggs. Now, if it's chicken eggs, there's no chickens anywhere near out there. And those were good sized eggs. But we'd have to look and see what sort of like.
Oh, Erebus says turkey eggs. That could be.
That could have been.
There's turkeys all over there.
There's turkeys all over there. Yeah, thank you. Right in front of us the whole time. So.
Zuri Broad says she saw the eggshells and immediately thought snake.
I'm looking at turkey eggs right now.
Is that what they look like?
It looks like turkey eggs.
Oh.
So something's eating turkey eggs back in there. Again, I'll have to I don't want to say definitively, but yeah, turkey eggs is a possible.
Sometimes we have just the dumbest blind spots. We're like, what could be out there?
Yeah, well, again, that's the thing is that you get to
that has eggs.
I mean, but that's why these live streams are so
important.
Because you get like really profound stuff that's from this,
there's
turkeys out there, man. So but all right, let's see what else we got.
Some hiking chickens, perhaps. Duck eggs. There is a swamp over there.
There's a swamp over there.
There's a weird swamp.
Everybody's asking for knife checks.
We're not doing knife checks.
We're not doing knife checks right now. Couple of reasons that we'll get into later.
Yeah.
Given some of the weirdness that we were dealing with as far as like threats from other people, we
decided not to flash.
We were kind of advised not to be flashing weapons.
We were advised not to be popping weapons out.
So we're holding off on that for right now, but we will return to those eventually. So, but again, like small mammals eat eggs. Snakes will eat eggs. So these eggshells were cracked open.
I'll eat eggs.
I'll eat an egg right now. I'm hungry, but something was back in that little.
Now, were they speckled? I'm going to look at these shells if they're
We'll
still
go back
there.
out. We'll go back out.
We'll be out there.
We'll go out and go back out and look at it. So.
I want to check this out. You left me and just.
There's no way in hell I don't even know if you can get back in there. I mean, you're good. You're wily and you're good for crawling like through little stuff. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like covering stuff like that, I mean, I had a hard time doing it. I mean, I'm feeling it today. So.
Sounds like
but we'll get back out there. And the other thing too that I need to figure out is somebody had said some of that footage was grainy. I need to figure out a way to simultaneously record and live stream at the same time from the same thing. That's something I got to work on, because that way, in case something crazy happens and it's too pixelated for the live stream, then we've got footage that we can later on and go, this is what happened.
I can possibly solve that problem.
I think I got an idea.
Oh, well, then never mind.
My idea is probably going to be better than your idea. So there we go. So, and there we are. So, all right, guys, what else y'all got? I'm actually caught up with the chat. So,
I'm hoping you can go on a rant. So
hey, you know what?
Run to the restroom.
You can go to the restroom real quick.
Thank you.
I got a rant. Not a rant. I don't have a rant.
Do you have one prepared?
No, I don't. But there's.
Oh, it's Joe. We can always rant.
I always got a rant just bubbling beneath the surface. Right, so. Missouri Broad's got something. That hole in the ground with loose dirt around it and the stick sticking out of it have been found by other investigators. They think juveniles are digging while mom is busy based on footprints. Like it's like a form of recreation. This would just look like the stick was shoved in a pile of dirt. It was weird. The fact that that's next to a bamboo grove, there shouldn't have been a stick that would have fallen from there. There's trees over on the other side, but sometimes you're out in the woods, you'll see sticks that have just branches have broken down and they just happen to drive into the ground. They just happen to land in first. That was not it. And then there was that pile of dirt there. I don't know. That was weird, but I don't know what it meant, what it was, but it was out of place, definitely. So definitely out of place. It's Joe's show now, Jesse. So Sugi, wasn't there a report of a guy killing a dog man by leaving a roast injected with antifreeze out for it? Sugi, if you know where that is, let me know. Here's the thing, though, is that if they were that easily fooled, I ain't going to go back to it, that if they could be tricked that easily, and you would think that their noses would be sensitive enough. I don't know. Part of the thing, too, is that you can't really gauge how sensitive or how advanced their senses are. You'll have people say that, oh, it smelled me, I think it smelled me. But then you'll have other people, like you'll have turkey hunters go, well, I was completely camouflaged up and we saw a Sasquatch walk by, and I'm going, well, it smelled this dude in this story, but now it's not smelling you now. So that's the thing that always gets me, is that the application of like their abilities seems to not be consistent across the board. Mm-hmm. It's as inconsistent as their appearances sometimes, which you would think that there would be a great deal of consistency if you're dealing with an undiscovered species. Yeah. If you're dealing with like turkeys, like say turkeys have not been discovered yet, and people are seeing these weird big birds out everywhere. Well, the descriptions are going to be pretty damn near. You might have some variation from male to female, variation according to age, but you're not going to have some turkeys with a turkey face and other turkeys have an eagle's beak, and then there'd be consistency on it. And you don't get that consistency with any of the abilities, any of the physicality of the, oh, I got a grape.
I brought you a grape.
Munch on my own green egg here. But you don't get that. And you should get that. You should get that. That's like where I look at the problem I have with the Patterson-Gimlin film. I don't think that's fake. I don't think the Patterson-Gimlin film is fake. But I don't see the Patterson-Gimlin film being evidence of an undiscovered natural hominid, because I look at that thing and I go, give me a few guys, I'll have you one in a zoo in a week, man. Didn't move that particularly fast. And I know you can build upon what supposedly happened. Oh, it was trying to draw it away from their young. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I look at the Patterson-Gimlin film and I go, well, that doesn't match up what people report. How did it look? It's kind of sloppy, kind of flabby. How did it move? Pretty clumsy, just kind of lumbered along, not particularly quick or graceful, So
that's a crunchy grape.
That's a crunchy grape.
It's grape ASMR here.
Grape ape. What do we got here? Marcus Aurelius.
Are you choking on a grape? What's happening?
I'm laughing at Marcus Aurelius' comment while I'm trying to squeeze this grape down. Big shout out to Kim, Grace, and Lady Wolf for the best comments and cohesive support enhancing the channel. Absolutely. All of like the Hellbender crowd is just phenomenal. And that's why we do these, because we get great input from you guys. We have a good time with this. And then he tells us to check our P.O. box tomorrow. If you hear ticking sounds, don't worry about it. Probably just your imagination.
I have a Bob Lazar lamp in the P.O. box that Out of Luck Tools made.
Watch, that's what Marcus sent you. Now you're going to have two.
Two Bob Lazar lamps.
Two Bob Lazar lamps. Thank you for that, Marcus. We greatly appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. So, and
Barton has a good point here. If these things could be tricked, there would be no mystery by now. They are the tricksters.
Perfectly. Yeah, that's the thing. You're not fooling these things, man. It stays a step ahead of you, and but that's almost supernaturally so. It seems like it stays they could be tricked so easily with bacon and mannequins at a campsite and everything like that. We'd have them. We'd have one. And maybe the government does have type specimens. I don't know, but. Listen, man, we're Southern Appalachians. Hillbillies and rednecks are extremely inventive people. You know what I'm saying? Extremely inventive. If a booger was causing them problems and they could be tricked that easily, there'd be booger heads mounted over fireplaces all across the South. And that has not seemed to be it. Dead End Yard Haunt goes, you can trick the Dogman with a few lines of Tide. Cocaine Dogman keeps rearing its ugly cocaine-encrusted head every once in a while. It's funny you mentioned that, because we were thinking about trying to get some people always ask for T-shirts, and we're going, all right, if we get T-shirts, we want to be something pretty cool. And we were even going, has Cocaine Dogman played out at this point? Would people care for a Cocaine Dogman T-shirt?
We would do a pre-order on Cocaine
Dogman T-shirts. God, I can't believe YouTube hasn't kicked us off entirely. Ray, maybe the stick was a marker of some sorts to enter the bamboo patch at that location. Actually, that's a damn good. I found the stick stuck in the ground puzzling, and that is the easiest way to enter that. And it looked fresh.
Yeah.
It looked fresh.
Wait, was it there?
It was right there.
No, was it there yesterday?
Yes, it was there yesterday.
It was there yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I looked at it still going, but it looked as if it had washed away some, which makes me think that mound of earth had not been there. But that could have been anything. I mean, a person could have done that very easily. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
why a person would have done that, but people do weird stuff. Look at us, Exhibit A and Exhibit B. You know what I'm saying? You know, we do weird stuff all the time. We're running around with cameras trying to find Bigfoot. All right, so
we're now on to poisoning Dogman.
yeah, I just now they're talking about the killing the Dogman with antifreeze, and maybe I'm sure that's a story. And maybe that is maybe it's as simple as simple. I mean, how many people have tried that? We've never tried antifreeze.
We're not going to either because that's a good way to kill some local dog too.
Jesus Christ, I can see the freaking. We're going to jail for recording around a playground, killing all the you've been perving on these kids and killing all these dogs. What the hell are y'all up to? What the hell are y'all up to?
We're cryptozoologists.
I swear that's all we're doing. Ghetto Yeti had said,
"You're sick."
Yeah, that the stick in the dirt reminded me of the way chimps catch and eat ants and termites. Termite sticks.
Yeah.
Termite sticks. Yeah.
The poke and go.
But that didn't look like an anthill. That just looked like a bunch of dirt that's muddy.
For some reason, we didn't inspect that very closely. I don't know why.
Because we had just like the metallic sound, the more dramatic aspects of the phenomenon when you deal with it.
We just sailed right into the bamboo patch.
It's because we needed to get in there. Grace is down for the cocaine Dogman. I need a shirt of that booger sugar Bigfoot. Write down booger sugar Bigfoot, please, because Dewey asked for that mound was a fire ant hill. I don't believe so, but we'll check it out. We'll go back through and check it out there. All right.
My notes today.
Yes.
Purgatory and booger sugar Bigfoot. Good job, everybody.
All right, guys.
They're talking about the Patty being injured at Bluff Creek and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, the Bobby Short massacre at Bluff Creek. All right, guys.
All right.
We're not going too much longer. We're not going to do a super long one tonight because we're freaking wiped out after Sunday night.
Yeah, I got to run you a bath.
Have to feed me grapes and run me baths. So,
I'm just reading the chat as it goes here. Yeah. Arnaldo. Hi, Jesse. Hi, Joe. Happy to see the mountain hobos didn't get you. Yeah, not yet. There's still time. There is still time. Good God. They had kids and dogs drinking antifreeze? Jesus.
Good Lord.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to do last call, actually, because these doing this like an hour and a half has been going pretty good. I think everybody, we don't overdo it.
Speak now or forever.
Yeah, let's do a last call. But
pieces.
It looks like we're going to be trying that experiment soon. And and we'll document everything for that. I think that would be cool. I think it'd be cool to kind of throw everything at it and maybe see if we can stir up some of this paranormal activity or record something.
What I want to see is that if you try this CE5 or the SD session or whatever your variation you're doing, and we don't get anything that happens to us, I'm really interested in seeing what happens in the sky above us while we're doing this stuff. Okay. So it's going to take a lot of review for stuff like that. It's going to take a long time to review that footage, but that's what I want to see. Is I want to see you have a Bigfoot sighting, somebody has a Bigfoot sighting or any sort of paranormal activity, Dogman sighting, Dogman encounter, anything. They're focused right ahead. They're focused on what's going on with them. Okay. What's going on in the sky above them? Yeah. What's going on in the sky above them at that point?
We attempted that at that old cemetery, but that was so dangerous and so nerve-wracking. I just abandoned
and everything like that.
So, I abandoned the blindfold. We abandoned that setup because if we had to get the heck out of there, I mean, we're gonna have to tear down that mountain as it was, and then we would have to get all of that stuff. So, at least we might be able to get in there and not have to tear out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I say, let's do it. Let's set up this experiment and I'll film everything for it and we'll share it with you guys.
We'll go full tilt.
So we appreciate you guys being here. And yeah, Hellbent Holler CE5 thing is imminent. Yes, it is.
Our friend South Force 10 just showed up.
Hey, man.
When you start doing your interview show, I know you're going to be very selective in the people that you do. You really need to get South Force 10 on if he would grace you to come on there. to share some of the stories from around his
Yeah,
neck of the
I'd love
woods.
that. I would love
His
that.
neck of the woods. And if you guys haven't checked out his channel, check it out. His channel is phenomenal. So
Oh, we've got a little scalinky
jot that
dude.
down. But Karen, thank you for that super sticker.
Thank you
$9.99.
so
Everybody gets
much.
generous here at the last minute, trying to bribe us to stay on the air. So
More grapes.
Grace, more grapes. Grace W. Great show tonight. Last night was great too. Thank you for that, Grace. We had as much as we complained, as bad as we feel today. What a crazy thing, man.
That thing was last night was crazy.
What a crazy thing. And
you know,
it's
we're just scratching the surface of that.
and what's
place.
crazy is that we didn't have concrete stuff like those bamboo wood knocks.
No,
But we still had weird stuff happening.
we had a lot of weird stuff happening.
And we're having when I'm not exaggerating, when I say every day we've got something new in the email box going, hi, I know where you're at. I'd like to share this with you, or some variation of that. And I'm just going, it would happen to be the place that I just poo-pooed at the beginning, just live on camera going, there ain't nothing going on here. Look at where we're at. No, there's nothing happening here. Damn it turns out I was wrong. I was just wrong.
Yeah.
For somebody who's rarely wrong like
It
me,
happens.
got my one being wrong out of the way for the year.
We're
rest of the year.
also putting together. Oh, hey, before we go,
Brie Larson. Thank you for that, Brie Larson. With a crazy, is that Brie Larson's face? That's awesome. So
but she's reading.
she's reading. Okay. All right. So
Oh, and no, you're not 86. It's just the bar house.
put that down there because that's legal. He's legally obligated now to do this. He cannot back out. So
Marcus Aurelius, thank you, sir. Signing off. Are we 86? You are
86.
not 86. Sorry, we did
sorry.
that. At
You are 86. We just 86 you off with the comment there. So Pork Chop Express just got in. You were going to have to get back to the back of the video.
I have a funny 86 story I'm going to tell here at the end of the show. It's just
share your 80. I know what story it is too.
It's so funny. It's just a personal little story here. My mom and dad used to come to the bar I used to work at in New Orleans, and they'd come on Sundays. I worked during Saints games, and they even came in, and my mom and dad would sit at the bar and get hammered, and and we'd watch the Saints games, and the bar would be busy and everything. And this guy was like acting crazy, and I was getting ready to kick him out, kick him out of the bar, and because he was just talking a bunch of BS and all this other stuff. So my mom's sitting there, and she's this little tiny blonde woman, and she goes, 69 and Jessica. And I said, can't do that, Mom. He'll never leave.
She got the 69 and the 86 mixed up there, huh? Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I said, he'll never leave if I do that. All right.
There we go.
There you go. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Hellbent Holler Live. It's been another great Monday. I hope you guys can start your weeks out on a good note after this. I hope you guys stay warm, stay dry, and make it out okay after all this. We will be updating you guys on all the stuff that's been going on with this Grove experiment that we are setting up. We're really excited about that. And I hope you guys will join us for that if we do it live. If not, we're going to put it up in a video.
Yeah.
So
any ideas on stuff we can try out there? Let us know either in comments or email us.
Yeah, if you have any ideas for some experiments we could do out there, we will take that into consideration. We are not doing mannequins baking. We're not doing mannequins and bacon.
We're not going to do mannequins and bacon, but any other weird stuff, throw it our way. We'll do it. So.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to put on some music to take you guys out. And you guys, we love y'all. You're awesome. Let's get rid of our names. Y'all don't need to know that shit anymore. All right, here we go. I'm just going to pick one here. Counterflow. Oh, yeah. You guys so much.